Good. Hello. Good morning. What's up, everybody? JP checking in, man. RespectMyRegion.com. We're back with another episode of the RMR podcast. I've got a very special guest today. Goes by the name of Willie McKenzie, CEO, Left Coast Holdings. I want to say he's the brain originator of elite cannabis operators. I'm not sure if that's the right verbiage, but when I think of him, I think of two things: Left Coast Holdings and elite cannabis operators. I also think about making moves and building good habits. So, my guy Willie, how you living today, bro?
I'm good. I thought you were also going to say mustache ride. So,
Mr. Mustache Ride himself, man. Come on. I love
good to see you, bro. Appreciate you
it.
having me.
Dude, you're joining us from Michigan in winter.
I, I am
What
Michigan in
the?
winter. It's actually sunny outside, which is kind of amazing. It's cold
Yeah.
here, but we got brand new Heritage Farms Carhartt jackets and vests, just dripping.
Sex appeal on drip out in
That's
Michigan,
right.
man. Carhartt.
That's
I
right.
love it. I love it, dude. Well, bro, I
Northern
really
Michigan
appreciate you
drip.
being here with us today, man. It's an honor and a pleasure to have to have you on as a guest and for us to be able to share some of your experience as one of the elite cannabis operators in the country. There's a lot of MSOs
Thank you.
out there. There's a lot of funded companies. There's a lot of people out there getting it in the trap, legacy to legal. And you're one of the groups that's been doing it for quite some time, multiple states, moving around, shuffling. You're just trying to survive and be one of the elite guys out there, brother.
That's 100% what it is, man. I mean, I appreciate the positive feedback and the props, but yeah, we're just like everybody else, trying to hang on, trying to make our way through this. This is some crazy shit we're doing, but yeah, it's been a wild ride. Still here, still here. Thank you. But yeah, it's been crazy, bro.
You say those words still here, and that to me that alludes to like you guys have been through a lot. You know, you've had ups, downs, trials, tribulations, good, bad, ugly, some big wins. Can you explain to people who is or what is Left Coast, and then let's elaborate on what is the elite cannabis operators.
Yeah, so Left Coast is a vertically integrated cannabis company. We're based in Northern Michigan. I came here, we started doing this in 2019. I come from Northern California, from the legacy market. And we have absolutely been through some wild ups and downs, my man. I mean, we launched in the state with, my partner and I put up the money to get a small store and a farm open. We didn't have any investors. It was just legacy money. We were paying people out of backpacks. And then we did wind up raising some money. So we got a big farm built. We got an indoor. We got a manufacturing facility. And we have 3 stores with a 4th that we're working on right now.
Wow.
But we have been through, hell and back, just like everybody else has.
When you think about the legacy to legal market, you legacy over here in California where I'm at up the coast. Then you think about legal over in Michigan. What was that transition like for someone like you? Because you go from operating a certain way to now you've got all these bells, whistles, paperwork, taxes, stickers, all the shit.
Yeah, it's a tough transition, and you really have to make a decision that like you're going to step your game up, right? For me, it was like I thought I was a good businessman and that I, had been growing for a long time and operating in the legacy market. So I thought I kind of had this little niche for myself. But then when you get into the regulated shit, you find out it's like this is a whole nother ball game, folks. This is not playing around. You got to be, you got to get sophisticated. So I mean, I took classes at Harvard. They have this core program. I started taking accounting classes so that I could step my game up, and not like I'm going to be an accountant, but I was hiring CFOs and I'm talking to investment bankers and raising money. And you have to actually be able to understand what these people are talking about. And you're paying people a lot of money to do shit for you. And you got to understand what they're giving you and be able to give them instructions as to what you want. And then when they're giving you this shit, you got to have at least a solid understanding of what it is, because otherwise they could feed you bullshit.
Yeah,
And in the beginning,
really take advantage of whatever budget you might have.
yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I got the wool pulled over my eyes a little bit. We went to raise money and our books looked like shit. And so we had to go through a big process of fixing them. That cost a lot of money. And so I made a decision at that point, like, okay, I'm going to step my game up to get smarter here, because otherwise we're not going to make it.
Identifying those speed bumps, struggles, obstacles is the big part of any, I guess, self audit improvement cycle, right? When you're really fed up with whatever it is or however you're feeling, you kind of have to look internally and decide what kind of changes are the most important ones for you to make. You look at your company and the different growth phases that you've been through, right? I want to do this phase. How do we do it? Okay, let's go get the license. Okay, cool. Let's get money to do some of these things and bring them to life. Small, right? Your own money. And then, oh, damn, this is the opportunity that we now have. At what point do you feel comfortable enough to pull a trigger on, all right, we're going to borrow money from someone else? At what point did you feel like this is the moment? And what were those indicators?
Um, once we had the farm open, we had gotten through our first season and we had a store operating and it was going well. It was profitable. We had a licensing deal on the table from, a really big brand in California. And it felt like a good time to take that kind of risk. Like, I mean, it's definitely scary to take on debt. It's definitely scary to sign personal guarantees. I have, my background is like legacy cultivation, brokering, and then I have a pretty good sized construction company in California. Not sophisticated, no debt, and then you start playing in the like 7 figures of debt, 8 figures of debt realm, and signing personal guarantees on investments and signing personal guarantees on leases, and realizing that like, okay, I'm really laying it all on the line right now because if this doesn't work, I'm bankrupt.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. So
So we've got a comment down there, eggs in many baskets. And I just want to elaborate on that. It's not about having many, because that word it's about strategically having stuff that isn't going to go anywhere. I feel like construction is one of those industries that is always getting work. It is a who you know. And when you own a construction company, there's a lot of opportunity for you not to have the high risk that a cannabis company has, or hemp, or one of those volatile industries. So it's about having the right baskets.
yeah, so I'm super fortunate in that I spent a decade building that business, and it allowed me. I had worked to a point where I didn't have to be involved in the business day to day anymore, and I still got paid. So I could come to Michigan and start a cannabis company, and I didn't have to take money out of the business. I didn't get paid here for 2.5 years, right?
Mhm.
So I worked here for 2.5 years, no paycheck, but I have shit that I've already built that pays me so I'm fortunate in that regard. It's very
Yeah.
challenging to start something and to have to be reliant on that thing to pay your bills right away. It's like almost
Yeah.
impossible.
I mean, we've been doing the same thing or something similar with RMR, right? It's like we've got multiple verticals within our own brand, and a couple of them pay our bills more consistently than others. But our passion may not be the construction of that situation, right?
Yeah,
Uh, and
100%.
so I definitely that relates, and I wanted to really key in on that. Um, Now you got a farm and you've got some dispensaries. Walk me through the
Yep.
current state of the farm, and then we'll touch on the dispensaries after that. What's good with the farm? What's the update?
Yeah, so when we came to Michigan, Michigan has a long-standing medical market, right? People are caregivers here for a decade, but everybody grows inside, and there wasn't really anybody growing outdoor for smokable flower. People were growing outdoors for biomass. The plants are small; they look like shit. There's a lot of mold and weird shit here. It's a different growing season. So I come from the hills of Northern California. I'm an outdoor grower. That's my thing. I believe in sun grown cannabis. And so our intent here was to produce outdoor flower for the smokable market. And that's what we've done. We have gone from 2,000 plants the first year to 10,000 plants the second year to 50,000 plants last year.
Wow.
Next year, we're going to 96,000 plants. The guys are already propagating and setting up the facilities for the mother structure so that we can get to that's 200,000 clones they're going to have to take to make that happen. So
Wow.
um, yeah, it's heavy duty. But for us to survive, Michigan's a very challenging market. We had to get our cost of goods down from, at 10,000 plants, it cost us $240 a pound to grow that flower, and we're selling it for $300 a pound in bulk. That's not a good margin. That's not a successful business. That's not a viable business. We have to get that cost of goods down to $100 a pound. That makes it so that if the market's at $300, we're still profitable. Right now, the market's at $400 to $600, so we're good. Right now, we're making money, but controlling that cost of goods was something that we had to do through scale.
So as you scale, the market's changing, right? You've got this constant supply and demand factor in the market, and honestly, there's an oversaturation of flower. The longer that these markets individually exist, the more licenses and flower comes online. Is that correct? Still for Michigan?
In Michigan, there is not as much outdoor flower on the market as there is in California, just
But
because
flower in general that applies to.
flower in general, I would say there's more indoor flower on the market than outdoor flower in Michigan for sure. And right now, there's like literally 10 minutes from me getting a message that however many pounds has been packed up in ounces, it's all gone. Um,
Wow.
it sells
Flies.
like hotcakes because we actually, I mean, we're hang drying. We're actually taking care of outdoor flower versus putting it in a hemp. We do have flower that we put in a hemp dryer. It's a different. We sell it in bulk, but for our brands, we have like traditional hung dried, 10 days, slow cured, really nice sun grown flower. That's what we build our brand on.
What are some of those strains that you guys are pretty proud of right now?
The RS11 is fired. Dante's Inferno, the Cherry Runts. We ran 26 cultivars this year, and we're just starting to really get into like the process, the post process product, the post harvest process of like testing and trimming has taken a long time with this kind of scale. So the lemon royale, the lemon icy, man, we're putting out some fire right now. The gelinate is just fucking
Oh yeah, that's
loud. Like if you saw me at MJ Unpacked and you smelled my backpack, that was gelinade.
there we go. There we go. Are you noticing coming from the California market, being in the Michigan market for a few years, are you noticing drastic differences in the supply and demand at the consumer level? Strains being different, like how New York is the sativas versus the gas. Are you noticing drastic differences on the consumer level?
Yeah, I mean, the tastes here are definitely different. Like I brought a bunch of people with me from Cali when we came. We brought growers, we brought marketing folks. We kind of brought our crew with, and those are people that have been smoking Cali weed since the beginning of time, right? And they like gas. They're smoking, and a lot of that stuff, unless we're growing it, isn't available here. This market likes, they like the runts and they like a lot of the hype strains, but the basis of this market is in the kind of fruitier strains. They like the cherries. This is the place where people still smoke Blue Dream.
Shoot, I'm trying to smoke some Michigan Blue Dream. Live that Michigan Blue Dream. Isn't the isn't the University of Michigan? Isn't that Go Blue? Come on.
That is go blue.
Let's go. Shout out Michigan, man. Great culture. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about what it's like, with those dispensaries. You got a couple dispensaries. Walk me through opening the first one. What was that like? How to help people understand opening a dispensary in a new state?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like, to be honest with you, it's overwhelming. I don't come from retail. I have very basic knowledge of how to operate a store. We were fortunate to hire somebody who had been running stores for a long time, had opened stores, really kind of one of the like OGs of the Michigan retail. And she
Hmm.
just happened to be interested in moving to the town that we were opening in. So she got the store open for us and kind of gave me the crash course on running retail. Since then, as the retail market has evolved, we have had to get significantly more sophisticated in how the store runs. Um, and it's not just about putting fucking weed on the shelf and people are going to show up and buy it anymore. Like, you got to really have some game to run retail and have it be profitable. Especially in the state of Michigan, prices are extremely low at the retail level. Last things are better this year than they were last year, but last year people were selling our ounces for $25 in their stores.
Wow.
$25 ounces of fire.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember hearing that Michigan's market was actually more similar to Oregon in a lot of
yeah.
ways, just from which is where those saturated condoms came from earlier.
Yep.
Very interesting to see that that was how it went to some degree.
100%. I think the biggest correlation state to state rec market is Michigan and Oregon. So we actually just brought in a new head of retail who just finished a 24 store exit in Oregon, and he's whipping our stores right now. And he was able to do it in Oregon, so I think he's able to do it in Michigan too. So far, so good, but still to be determined.
From what
TBD.
from 1 to 3, what was that expansion like?
Um, 1 to 3. I mean,
And
you
any
know,
tips you have?
yeah. Don't go too fast, right? Everybody
Uh,
in cannabis wants to go, 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 go. We got to get all these assets open. Like traditional business sense says, stand up an asset, get it to be profitable, take those profits from that asset, reinvest, right? And then cannabis has been, give me as much money as possible. We're going to open the fucking world right now, overnight, and produce a lot of revenue, fuck being profitable. We're getting to a place where I think slow is better, right? Slow is steady, steady is fast. And to a place where I think it's better to just like focus on one thing, right? So people want to be vertically integrated. I would argue with that all day. That's like an old school idea in cannabis. You have to be vertically integrated to be profitable. I know, especially from the group now, I know a lot of dudes who are running clean operations, like a single grow facility that's profitable, selling product in bulk, not even branding. I think specialization is the future in cannabis. So, like, pick one thing, pick your lane, do it really well, stay in your lane until you master it, then consider doing something else.
no, that's huge feedback, right? People always say you're not great at anything until you put the 10,000 hours into it. And if you really look at it, you can allocate a lot of time in a 1 to 2 year period to something, and really see it come to life, and also change from what it originally was.
Yeah.
Um,
I think like if you look at great brands too, like what do great brands do? The majority of great brands do one thing and they do it really well, right? RMR, Legacy Smalls. You guys do small weeds really great. Stizzy, right? Stizzy is based on that. Their whole business, that whole brand is based on the Stizzy pen. Same with Bloom, right? The vape pen. Like
yeah,
everybody doesn't just launch 50 products into the market and become a great brand overnight. The majority of great brands come from doing one thing really well.
yeah, you've got to really focus in on that. Content for a long time, building other people's brands and products, and supporting that for a long time, and really learning and watching the ins and outs has made being an operator ourselves, not to say easy, but those trials and tribulations that we go through, we're not seeing them for the first time. We're not seeing them. This isn't the first. We don't have just one solution to approach that, and I think that's been huge. Which is why we have you on the show today. Is we want to make sure that your perspective gets heard, seeing as how you've operated in a few places and popping up dispensaries and fucking 96,000 plants. Man, that shit's crazy. I can't even imagine. I bombed at 24 here at my house. 23. Let's not cap it right now. Um,
Yeah.
so elite cannabis operators, um, a group of business owners, entrepreneurs, brand owners, operators, license holders, a variety of humans, that are operating successfully, or interested in operating successfully in cannabis. Walk me through what you guys do, how that came about.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I'll just go back to the beginning of it. You alluded to that, I had been through hard times. When the market collapsed here, it was really hard. We lost a lot of money, 2021, 2022, end of 2021 and into 2022. And, there were times when I didn't know how I was going to make payroll. I had just had a baby. So my wife was already stressed out. I couldn't go home and tell her, like, I got to come up with 150 grand in 3 days. I don't know what I'm going to do. Um, and they say, entrepreneurship is lonely, like it's lonely at the top. That's even more true in cannabis because what we're doing is incredibly unique. And so I went out and joined some mastermind groups, to kind of find camaraderie, find some friends, find some people that I could talk to who might understand what I was going through. And I did find it, right? I joined groups with people who were doing big, big shit, that made my problem sound kind of small and really put things in perspective for me. But
It's
they're
huge.
not in cannabis. I was the only dude in cannabis, and so people didn't really understand. I would say like, yeah, my wholesale market dropped 90%, and they just couldn't wrap their head around that because if the real estate market drops 25 or 30%, that's a crash. Same with the stock market.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, I got to start one of these up for cannabis operators because this is incredibly needed in the space. The mentorship, the camaraderie, the sharing of best practices, the sharing of things that didn't work.
Yeah,
Just
that's
being
huge.
able to being able to come into a group with a decision that has to be made, or something to bounce off your peers, people who have probably already done it before, is just massive.
Yeah, I know. Being a part of the few meetings that I've been blessed to include myself in was surprisingly valuable. Not surprisingly from the fact like, oh, the humans surprised me because they said some shit that was profound, or oh my god, but it was touching on all those points you just made. There was 1000% people asking a variety of very, very serious business questions that applied to their specific companies, and numerous people providing profound feedback and I would say either advice or even just forks in the road to consider that they maybe hadn't thought, expanding the brain. And I thought that that was very valuable. Uh, Furthering your education is something that we always talk about, right? Within our team and to the people that I bring on board. And I feel like a lot of times leaders definitely think that they know it all, or they let their companies and brand consume themselves to the point where they don't have the energy to do that stuff anymore. Walk
Real
me through
talk.
a little bit about, so you do the elite cannabis operators, you run multiple businesses, you got businesses in multiple states. What is your day like? What is your schedule like? Because I know that you're an animal in terms of productivity and efficiency. So walk me through the mindset and what your schedule's like.
Yeah, so I get up at 3:45. I pray in front of my coffee maker and I post it on Instagram. And then I actually stopped drinking coffee. Now I'm drinking mud water. So I sit with my mud water, quiet reflection.
This episode
Um,
was not brought to you by Mudwater.
That's definitely not by Mudwater. I sit in my I like this morning, I sat in my sauna for 20 minutes at like 4:45, 5 o'clock.
Oh,
I
that
jumped in the
sounds so nice.
shower. It was really nice. I tell you what, cold ass morning. I was super sore. It felt great. I hopped in my sauna for 20 minutes. I showered. I was at the office by 6:30. And yeah, I'm doing all the stuff that's not related to Left Coast Holdings early in the morning. I'm writing, I'm doing content, making content videos. And then by like 8:30, my new CFO had showed up, and we jumped into meetings, and I was in meetings with him all morning. So I'm a morning person. That's when I'm most creative. And so for me to do anything that's outside of Left Coast Holdings, it's got to be early morning, because the way I look at it, I have three things in my life. I have family, I have work, and I have sleep. And in order for me to take on another project, to make content or do something that's outside of, those three things, I can sacrifice one of them. I can't sacrifice Left Coast Holdings. I can't sacrifice my family. So I got to sacrifice sleep.
Yep, fuck sleep right there sometimes. Okay, so you look healthy. I know you work out. I know that you've changed your life in terms of some of those habits from old Willie. Walk
Yeah.
me through, bro. So if you sacrifice sleep and you're working out, you're healthy, what are you consuming? What are some of those other life habits that you feel are really important for the overall success, to be elite, to be one of these elite operators?
Yeah, I mean, so like I was a horrible drug addict. I spent a lot of time in rehab. I've been sober for coming up on 12 years in February. I am down 100 pounds, from like 300 pounds to under 200 now. So like health is incredibly important to me. I get checked all the time. I do this executive health program at the doctor. Um, and I really am watching what I eat. I'm eating super healthy. I eat super clean. And and then I work out, and sometimes I'm working out in the morning. Sometimes I'm working out after work. Just kind of depends where I'm at with my schedule and the kind of things that I'm doing in my life. But like right now, I'm working out after work. I'm working, doing my writing in the morning, and then working out after work. And that's just incredibly important for me, for my mental health, to have that exercise, to be eating clean. And that's how I'm staying, productive, really.
I know I don't know this personally, but I've had plenty of friends, and I've heard you mention this over the years, the importance of mental health and balancing out these habits. I hear you talk about on your Instagram, in real life, to fucking strangers, and it's something that I really love about you as a human, is just your desire to share this knowledge because you've been living through it. So, um, when it comes to the mental health, walk us through how you, or I guess expand on how you are able to maintain a balance of good mental health habits. I think that's more important because
Yeah.
mental health is so subjective for everybody and it's always changing. And so, how do you keep a core, positive mental balance, I guess, if that's a thing?
Yeah, so I mean, I deal with anxiety, panic attacks. I've had struggles with depression in my life. Those are the reasons, part of the reasons that I wound up being a drug addict, because drugs and alcohol calm those voices down in my head. They make the anxiety go away. And then once you get sober, you're left with all those issues that you had before. And so, the last decade of my life has been lots of therapy, lots of work on myself, meditation, doing all this shit to try to, get to a place of positive mental health. Nothing has been more powerful for me than having strong daily habits, working out, and eating clean. It sounds stupid. I've taken all of the fucking drugs that they give you, the SSRIs, all the fucking happy pills, fuck all that shit. Nothing has worked as well for me as eating clean, working out, and keeping to a very, like, I would say, strict daily habits. That shit makes me feel good, right? It makes me feel mentally strong, and it puts me in a good, positive place every day, even amidst this madness that we're dealing with, right?
Yeah, there's so many variables going on in personal lives, business lives, the financial economy. There's multiple wars happening, and community is up and down and all around in various capacities. You know, there's just a lot of change, and I feel like this kind of also reflects full circle back to the plant, right? The plants don't stop growing. It's something that I hear growers talk about often. If I don't see a grower at MJ Biz or at the mansion party in LA or the Hall of Flowers, whatever, the culture is usually saying that it's because one, they can't afford to be there, which is fine. I understand it. I make it happen because we do media and we get free shit because we work hard doing media, right? But I don't grow. So the plants don't stop growing, right?
No, they don't take days off.
They don't take days off. And I feel like that's something that we can all learn from the plant here in the cannabis industry is that we don't take days off because the plant doesn't take days off. And to be honest, the patients don't take days off because they feel sick and they hurt. And it's something to to remind ourselves all the time is that we are supposedly in this for the plant to build community, make money if we can, and be a part of it and contribute in our own special way. What do you enjoy about being in cannabis the most? What do you look forward to every day when you're building out your schedule for the week, and that's what makes you happy and have that strong mental health balance? What about cannabis contributes to that?
I have enjoyed being part of this industry for a long time. I love the cannabis plant. I love watching it grow. I love growing it at my house. I love growing it in our farm. I love growing in the fields. I love that it's growing indoors here. And I just like being part of this industry as it evolves. I think it's important that people from the legacy market do have a space at the table as this thing keeps going. And so I'm just doing whatever I can to make sure that I can't control what happens with everybody else, but I can control what happens with me. And so I'm going to make sure that I'm here to represent for myself and for the people who were doing this, before it was okay, before the government said it was okay.
Yeah, it like it's crazy how there's still so much illegal cannabis zones, if you would, or regions where there's just no weed. It's an entire red zone, as they say,
Yep.
in America and across the world. People still getting incarcerated for that. You recently helped sponsor the 40 Tons activation to write letters for prisoners for cannabis prisoners currently serving time. Can you walk me through what that was like and the overall impact that you guys are working towards?
Yeah, absolutely. I should be dead or in prison 100 times by now. For some reason, I'm still here, and I've never faced any serious legal consequences from all the shit that I've done. And so, it really comes down to a stroke of luck, right? Like, some people got caught and some people didn't, and there are people who are still in prison for doing the same shit that I was doing then and that I'm doing right now. And I think that that's fucked up. And so I really appreciate Anthony, L'Oreal, Corvain, what they're doing. I love the 40 Tons brand and the opportunity to be involved in that. That massive activation that they had at MJ BizCon was huge for me for a number of reasons, right? Because A, I believe in the cause. B, I really want to support what they're doing. And then C, it says something about, me, that I have been able to, create relationships with these people. That's something that I felt proud of, that I was asked to be included in that. So I absolutely wanted to rock with them.
We definitely want to give you respect and commend you for, participating and supporting that as a partner. The 40 Tons Group does great things, and actually has real impact with people. And it's crazy to be around them, and being a part of that grind. So big shout out to their entire team and the sacrifices that they make for other people. I do want to also shout out a couple of the other groups that are out there. We've got Luke Scarmazzo's group launching a brand Profit. We've got the Last Prisoner Project, and I linked with the Freedom Grow team down in Florida recently. So big shout out to the various groups all advocating, and partnering and supporting, the prisoners of the war on drugs.
Also,
Willie,
my guy Ryan Basor from Redemption Cannabis in Michigan out here killing it, launching into like 4 more states right now. Dude's a beast.
shout out their group as well. That's super dope. Love hearing those kinds of success stories and seeing them, at least get an opportunity to get back into space with us. They sacrifice for us to be here. Willie, before we let you get out of here, what's an RMR exclusive, man? What you guys got coming up? I know you guys just launched that Heritage. You guys got any strains you're excited about? You guys got any products about to launch? We're gonna see some hash holes soon. What's the deal, bro?
Yeah, I think the things that I'm really excited about for 2024 are just continuing to build. Our brand is called Caddy. We're here in Michigan. We're in like 40 stores right now. We've got a really dope lineup of stuff that's coming out. We've got a good lineup of stuff that's already out. So if you're in Michigan, you haven't tried the Caddy products, it's that beautiful sun-grown flower, really well taken care of. That's what we're about here in Michigan. High quality, high THC, sun-grown flower grown from you.
Terps. Yeah, the vapes were
Terps for
delicious.
days.
The terps sound delicious in terms of the strains that you guys have picked. So I'm really excited to check that out and link with you again. Are we going to see you in a few months at Hall of Flowers, brother?
I might have to come through. Maybe
Well,
I
here's
will.
here's your personal invite to our 13-year anniversary at this year's Hall of
Appreciate
Flowers
you.
in Ventura. We
Appreciate you.
hope to see you out here in your old stomping grounds in the Central Coast. Would be super dope.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate you being on this episode with me. For those of you guys watching, today's episode was brought to you guys by RMR Legacy Smalls. Today's episode, though, RMR Legacy Smalls Arizona, because we're going to be launching in Arizona here over the next month or two. So stay tuned for that update. We're going to be bugging Willie to chat about Michigan here over the next few months as well, because why not? We want to work with our homies and do cool ass projects. So everybody stay tuned. Go support Caddy, support Heritage. What are the names of your dispensaries?
Heritage Provisioning and Authentic 231.
And what cities are they in?
We're in Manistee, Stanton, East Tawas, and Lansing is coming up.
Let's go. Make sure you guys tap in, man. Support this guy, Willie. Elite Cannabis Operators, Left Coast Holdings, Heritage, and their line of dispensaries in these cool ass little cities that I'd never heard of. Make sure you guys tap in. Willie, anything else?
That's all I got, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Like, follow, and subscribe, everyone. We'll see you next time.